Stop wasting your money when you create AI agents, as you could drop the cost of your agents up to 90 times cheaper with this new automated prompt optimization that recently Databricks open sourced it. It's called GEPA, and in this video I'm going to show you what's the magic of GEPA on backend to significantly drop the cost of AI agents and automatically automate your prompts with this new approach, and to see how it works in action for your own projects. So let's check it out. I just came across this recent blog released by Databricks that they're making a bold claim mentioning that with this new automated prompt optimization that they're going to talk about, they were able to actually drop the cost of AI agents up to 90 times even cheaper. So it talks about how you can potentially use this solution that when you serve your AI agents that they call language models with this technique, you could potentially use even cheaper models because you're doing prompt optimization. So I was very keen on knowing that what is this new sort of automated prompt optimization and how it's really working in action to make this really bold claim a reality. Then I started digging further and I realized that they are using a solution called GEPA that they recently, a couple of months ago, released by a collaboration with, of course, Databricks and MIT and UC Berkeley and a couple of other companies and academia sources, that they're noting that with this new sort of open source, also prompt automation, they were able to use some cheaper open source models that can beat the performance of very costly and off-the-shelf models like, for example, Claude Opus or Claude Sonnet. We just maybe using GPT open source 120 billion parameters, you could maybe get even much more better performance of your AI agents compared to these very much more costly models. Not only that, they also know that if you want to use still these costly models, which are absolutely better in general compared to cheaper or open source models, they said that with just applying GEPA to these models as well, they could still be able to increase the performance of the AI agents. So if you follow this picture, you will see that on this side we have the serving cost. As we go all the way to the right, models are more costly. Obviously, Claude Opus here is the costly one compared to GPT open source 20 billion parameter model. But also on this side, as we go upper, the performance of the models are better. So in this blue line, which is the base, Claude Opus is the most costly one and at the same time the most accurate one. But with just applying GEMA to a very cheap model like GPT open source 120 billion parameter, they suddenly increase the score of performance all the way to the here, which is now have GEPA applied, which is again a prompt optimization technique. Now you could see that the score here with this open source very cheaper model is even more compared to Claude Opus that is much more expensive. Now when we talk about prompt optimization, some people consider some other solutions like few shot examples or reinforcement learning or fine-tuning. They also did benchmark on a couple of different techniques if they could get better responses compared to applying GEPA. And they realized that when they were using different prompt optimization techniques like Simba or MIPRO, these are different type of prompt optimization algorithms that they usually do through either Bayesian search or stochastic accent search. So technically in Bayesian, when you have initial prompt, you will ask another LLM that, hey, here's my prompt, make it better based on how it performed. Now you have a better prompt. So it just focus on the local improvement of initial prompts as you make different versions of that. And they realize that with GEPA, they're consistently getting better responses. And even they benchmark how GEPA works compared to when you fine tune a model instead of prompt optimizing the model when you create your AI agent. To give you an example, here's an optimization configuration compared to how they performed in baseline when there is no prompt optimization. This is the score 7.9. And by the way, these are different type of multi-task agentic workloads that they're benchmarking, or multi-iterative questions answers. So they have tried different sample of data that they have provided more details in the report here. But you could see when they applied GEPA compared to other prompt optimization techniques, this one got the highest score compared to other one. And this is again just for example, this one was for 120B open source model, and again this applied the same thing on even costly models like Sonnet, which is not open source. Still, they got the same consistent improved performance, more improved performance compared to other prompt optimization techniques. Now, what about fine-tuning? You might challenge that instead of doing prompt optimization, if I just have a fine-tuned open source model based on my sample data, it might perform much better. So I will take this supervised fine-tune or SFT model and then create my AI agent using that. Well, they did it. They started fine-tuning GPT 4.1 model as an example over this IE bench dataset, and they realized that yes, when you actually fine-tune a model, it performs better than non-fine-tuned model for your task. But when you apply GEPA, which is just a prompt optimization technique, no fine-tuning needed, no reinforcement learning, not even touching your model weights, it performs better compared to when you do just fine-tuning. And interestingly, they did both together. They took this model, not only they fine-tuned it first, and then they optimized the prompts that they were using on fine-tuned model using this GEPA approach, and they realized that when they do both, the perform is much better than just using GEPA prompt optimization or just using supervised fine-tuning, which is pretty exciting. And this is the interesting part, talking about costs and that bold claim. If you consider, let's say 100K or 100,000 requests you want to make with these open source and non-open source models, they have different costs. If you see GPT open source 1, which 120 billion parameter, has the lowest amount of cost for this amount of requests compared to a very expensive model like Opus. This is the yellow line that talks about the cost of serving this request. But at the same time, what's the effort or cost needed for optimizing that? Well, optimizing just using Gamma is one time that you have the prompts of your AI agents optimized by Gamma. And you can see the cost that you need to potentially pay for optimizing your prompts, which is the blue one, is really low compared to how much you're paying when you serve these models. And this is that 90% cheaper blame is coming in, or 90 times cheaper if you compare with just having a GPT open source model compared to Opus 4.1, but even getting a better results using this cheaper model compared to the expensive one. Now, to give you a better understanding of what's going to be the ratio of cost of optimization of prompts versus serving the model, because if you might say, with this GEPA, if I optimize my prompts, then obviously there's a cost associated. I haven't talked about how GEPA works, which I'm going to come to that shortly, but you're right, there's a cost associated. But if you think about that, let's say when you have just 100 requests, 1,000 requests, yes, the cost of optimization is considerable compared to serving, but again, this is just one time. But if you go down the way to the right side, when you have much more requests, like let's say 10 million requests that you're going to ask from your AI agent, the main cost is coming from the serving because you do the optimization once. That's why the optimization cost, which is the blue one, is negligible compared to how much you're paying for saving this amount of demand. Alright, so far we talked about this blog that they released, and again, the juice of the work is using GEPA as automated prompt optimization. So they again released the open source code and also the paper that talks about details of this approach. So I went through the paper and I'm going to show you the results of that and also how it works on backend. This is the title of the paper, GEPA Reflective Prompt Evolution Can Outperform Reinforcement Learning. This is mainly about when you do just prompt optimization that can work much better than RL or even fine-tuning as we discussed. So if I scroll all the way down, introduction, they added actually how they tested their solution on an open source Quen model with just 8 billion parameter. You will see that when they were doing GRPO, which is reinforcement learning, you have to go through so many rollouts, because reinforcement learning has some sort of iteration, and at the same time the score improved from 47 to let's say 52 here, but we just immediately using GEPA, which is this darker blue color, with less iterations, you optimize the prompt and suddenly you increase the score much more than just reinforcement learning. And they did the same thing again with same model, but the different sample test data set. And these are not just one simple question answer to the language model. These are agentic and complex multi-step benchmark data set. Like Hotpot QA is a question answer through Wikipedia, but through multi-iterative approach, multiple queries and multiple search. And check this out. As an example, this was the initial prompt that let's say you gave to your AI agent, and GEPA made this much more optimized and automatically created this much better and potentially even longer prompt for the same task that they have added in the paper. And now let's go to the secret sauce. This is the main part that talks about how GEPA works, and I start follow my pointer to fully understand how it works. Initially, you start with a prompt or multiple prompts for your AI agent or multi-agent system as they do different tasks and they are connected to different tools. So you have the initial one, but you're not sure if this is the best one or not. So instead of making your AI agent better by shipping your language model to expensive one, stay with the cheaper one or even the smaller language models. Make your prompts of your agent better with this approach. So what happens is that when you have initial prompt, you have a budget. That budget means how many times you want to make this prompt better. As long as you're not passing the threshold, let's say 50 times, this approach is going to automatically start working and evaluate your prompt and make them better. Otherwise, it will stop until it reaches the threshold you specify. So if you are still under budget, good to go, we continue. Now I have a candidate of prompts. Initially, you have prompt 0, but down the road, they use another language model to create multiple versions of your prompts. Some are better, some are worse. We don't know yet. We call this candidate pool of prompts. Now they start then to test all these generated prompts to see how they do tasks. And I call it about task with S because in your multi-agent system, each agent do different things. So they realize that from, let's say, prompt 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which I have these sort of prompts, some of them, they fail on, let's say, task 1. Prompt 3 was the only one that works with successfully finishing task 1. Well, for task 2, both prompt 1 and prompt 2 work, but for task 3, again, just prompt 2 works. So some prompts were good, just one task or a couple of tasks. Some prompts did nothing like prompt 0, obviously. This is now out of the game. But what happens, we are going to select the best candidates per task. This is what they call it Pareto-based candidate filtering. That's one of their secret sauce. They're not just going to take the one prompt that works the best for majority of the tasks, which is most of prompt optimization solution works. Instead, they realize that if, for example, I have for task 2, both prompt 1 and prompt 2 works, which one I'm going to select? Well, I'm going to select prompt 2 because prompt 2 not only finished task 2 successfully, but also it finished task 3 successfully as well. Otherwise, prompt 1 just finished one task. So prompt 2 is better than prompt 1, right? That's why prompt 2 has been selected. Same thing we're going to do for other tasks and select some candidates here. And now we have this filtered pool instead of that candidate pool. You will see that this candidate pool has been now shrinked to this filtered pool. Now, I have these candidates. What am I going to do with them? I'm going to evaluate them and make them better. How? There are two approaches. First, they do reflective prompt mutation. Let's see how it works. What they do, they start sample just one candidate from mutation. Then that candidate is the one that potentially works the best among all different tasks. It's just not the naive, random, stochastic selection. And then they take it, let's say prompt 2 here, and they have mini batch of training data set. That data set is about some sample input and output, a desired output that the AI agent should do. So we will take these input output examples of AI agent, the ideal AI agent, and this prompt 2 that is supposed to work as ideal, we give it to another language model to check how prompt 2 worked on that sample data. And with not again just focusing on the final results, this approach considers the whole trace of how the agent works, what it failed, how it failed, with that explanation so that language model can create a better version of that prompt. That's one way. They're doing that on all the candidate prompts. But at the same time, at some points, I'm going to tell you when, they apply another approach, which is systematic ever merge. What they do is that they take more than one candidate prompt, they take it and they merge it, because they noted that prompt 2 is maybe good for a specific part of the task and prompt 3 is good for another specific part of the task. Why I'm forced to just select one prompt, which is most of prompt optimization techniques do. They take the good candidates and they merge it using another language model. So how frequent they do this merging? Well, you can specify that number, or the system automatically realizes that when it is needed to do some merging, and then they create a new candidate. Now, these new candidates we are creating based on these two approaches goes to another evaluation to see these candidates are better than previous one that we tested or not. So they're using these parents to create a new children, and then if the new children is better, yes, they go to that candidate pool again to start that whole process I talked about, in a new iteration. If not, discard it, because we created some new prompts, but they're not better than the pool that we had. So let's go back and try other prompts we already have in the candidate pool. This is the whole approach of GEPA. And for the results, they started to benchmark Qwen3 8 million parameter. These are different, again, complex, multitask, multi-iteration data set. They wanted to try these AI agents. You'll see that when they use GEPA merge, that use that sort of parental based merging technique that I just talked about, it works better. Sometimes without merging, just that mutation I discussed in GEPA, which is the first approach of GEPA, works better. So in general, GEPA or GEPA with merge works the best compared to baseline and on some other prompt optimization techniques. They tried the same thing with GPT 4.1 mini. They got the same response. As you can see, the bold numbers here are either GEPA or GEPA merge compared to other approaches. One interesting test they did was that they wanted to create an AI agent that can generate code, and the code was creating very optimized kernel code for AMD NPU's chips. And in general, I don't really talk about kernel code stuff, but consider that the success for this AI agent is making sure the code that you generate is very optimized enough that use the most vector or vector utilization. So you'll see that GEPA here had the highest vector utilization, and even on the right side, the light sort of colorish blue GEPA Pareto is the one that has usually the highest vector utilization, sometimes up to even more than 70%, when they use this technique to optimize the prompts of the AI agent that was supposed to create kernel level codes. And obviously, for evaluating the prompt or creating new candidates, there's a language model piece involved which they use. So that's why they added also the prompts that they use for this mutation reflection and prompt updating, which is called meta prompt, at the appendix section of the paper, which certainly worth to check this out, as it might give you ideas and helps you to also improve your prompts even better. Now, how we can use it in action? I realized that GEPA has been also open source. There's a GitHub repo. I will add the link of this GitHub repo to the Discord channel. The link of the Discord channel is in video description below. When you go to the channel, there's a reference section. Click there. You will see the link of references on codes of all the videos I have published so far, including this one. So if you scroll down, you will see that you can simply install this library with pip install or directly get it from the GitHub repo. And then there's a sample code that use here OpenAI as an example of choice of language model. So you need to provide your OpenAI API key if you use OpenAI. And then you just simply need to import GEPA. And here's the initial prompt that you're going to optimize for this sample data set that they imported from GEPA. But obviously, you're going to create your sample data set here. And then what you need to do, just give your initial prompt, that data set you want to use to test the prompts, and then what's going to be the language model that is supposed to do the task, which is your AI agent. Here is GPT as an example. This is the budget we discussed, how many times you want to take this approach and make your prompt better. And another model which is going to evaluate your prompt and maybe create an updated one. So usually for this one, you will use a stronger model. This is not the model that you're going to use for AI agent. This is the model you use it for optimization, and down the road, you will use this model for your AI agent. And that's it. Then you will have your optimized prompt. You will see that they have added a couple of examples that I showed you already with just one line prompt. They converted that to much more lengthy and much more optimized prompt with just using this GEPA approach. Alright, that was all about this video. Hopefully this technique will help you and sort of initiate the thoughts on, instead of just thinking about fine-tuning or just shipping to much more expensive models, you could consider just optimizing the prompts that you have, and even much more cheaper models might be enough and even performing better for your agent. And I hope you found it helpful. If yes, I would be very thankful if you click on like icon. Make sure you share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below, and subscribe so you won't miss the next video. Thank you so much.